You ever overheard your wife talking to your dad? Yeah, sounds like the start of some bad sitcom, right? But trust me, it wasn't funny. Picture this. She's telling him I'm not half the man he is. Not the man she thought she married. Doesn't have the balls, doesn't have the money, doesn't have what it takes to give her the life she deserves. And there I was, standing in the kitchen, listening to my wife rip into me. Not behind my back, not in some private conversation. She's talking to my dad and she thinks I don't know. But here's the kicker. When I confronted her about it, when I told her I heard everything, she tried to act like it was no big deal. Like this was just some honest conversation. And you know what I said? I'm filing for divorce. Pack your shit. I didn't break down. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I just knew this was coming. I knew it before she ever said those words. Buckle up. This is just the beginning. I got home earlier than usual that day. I wasn't expecting to hear anything out of the ordinary. Just another day. But the minute I stepped through the door, something felt off. It was quieter than usual. I walked into the hallway and saw the door to my home office cracked open. I froze for a second. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe she was on the phone or watching TV, but then I heard her voice. At first, it was just background noise, a couple of words I couldn't make out. But the more I listened, the more I realized what was going on. She was talking to my dad, and it wasn't just small talk. No, this was the real deal. I stepped closer, careful not to make a sound, and then I heard it. Her words cut through the air like a knife. She was complaining about me, complaining about everything I wasn't, saying I didn't have the drive, the ambition, the grit, saying I could never be the man my dad was. That wasn't even the worst part. She went further. She said that all she wanted was for me to be like him, to be successful, to be strong, to give her the life she thought she deserved. And then she said it. She dropped the bomb. This marriage? It's a mistake. Those words hit me like a ton of bricks. Right then and there, I knew. I wasn't her partner. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was just some placeholder, a guy she settled for because she thought she could change me. And guess what? She couldn't. And the worst part? I couldn't even be mad. I had seen this coming. So I made a decision. And it wasn't just a decision about her. It was a decision about me. I didn't wait another second. My blood was boiling. My heart was pounding in my chest. I couldn't just stand there and let her tear me down without saying something. I pushed open the door with a force that sent it slamming against the wall. The sound was like a wake-up call. I wanted her to feel how much that conversation had destroyed me. She froze, eyes wide in shock. The room went dead silent. "Are you serious right now?" I asked, my voice cold and sharp, cutting through the tension. "That's really what you think about our marriage?" She didn't know what to say. Her face went pale and she started stammering, trying to backpedal. No, that's not what I meant," she started, but I wasn't hearing any of it. I could see the panic in her eyes, but I didn't care. "You've been talking behind my back for who knows how long, saying I'm not good enough for you. You think I'm just gonna sit here and take it?" I stepped closer, my voice dropping, low and steady. "I'm done. I'm filing for divorce. You can save your excuses, because this isn't a conversation anymore. This is a decision." She took a step forward, trying to grab my arm like she could somehow make me stay. But I jerked away from her, my anger flaring. "No, you don't get to manipulate me anymore. You don't get to make me feel small. It's over." Her face twisted into something I could barely recognize, part shock, part fury. She started to cry, but I didn't care. It was too late for apologies. Too late for anything. I walked out of the room. I wasn't even looking back. But even as I stepped out the door, I knew this was just the beginning of something way bigger than either of us could handle. I stepped outside, trying to calm myself down. But the moment I was out of the house, it was like everything I had been holding inside just exploded. My hands were shaking. My mind was racing. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I started pacing. The weight of it all hit me like a ton of bricks. The divorce, the betrayal, the truth about my wife. I barely made it to the driveway before I heard the door slam behind me. It was her. She was chasing me down. I turned to face her, and the look in her eyes was pure desperation. She came at me, grabbing my arm like she was trying to keep me from walking away. But I pulled away, not caring about the look on her face. She started yelling, her voice cracking. "You don't understand. You don't get how hard this is for me. You're just running away from everything." Her voice got louder, more frantic. She was trying to guilt trip me, trying to make me feel like I was the one in the wrong. She was pushing every button she could find, hoping I'd cave, but I wasn't having it. "You're right about one thing," I said, my voice hard and unyielding. I don't understand. I don't understand why you'd disrespect me like this, behind my back. Why you'd talk to my dad about me like I'm some kind of failure." She took a step back, her face shifting from anger to confusion. She wasn't prepared for this. She thought I'd break, but I wasn't breaking. "You think I'm weak, don't you?" she said, her words dripping with venom. "You think I can't live with a pathetic man like you? You have no confidence, no backbone." I looked her dead in the eye. "Yeah, you're right. I'm done being your backup plan. You don't get to tear me down anymore. This is over." I turned on my heel and walked away. No more words, no more arguments. It was done. But as I started to walk away, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't going to end quietly. No, this was just the first round. I barely made it to the street before my phone rang. I saw his name on the screen, my dad. I thought about ignoring it, letting him figure it out on his own. But something told me I needed to take this call. "Dad," I said, my voice tight. "What's up?" His tone was calm, too calm. "You serious about this? About the divorce?" he asked. "Because if you're just doing this out of anger, you'll regret it." I almost laughed. No, Dad, I'm not angry. I'm done. You're just like me, you know that? He said, his voice lowering like he was delivering some kind of life lesson. You can't let emotions run the show. Divorce isn't the answer. You'll ruin your life over one bad moment. I shook my head, anger rising. I don't need a therapist right now, Dad. I'll handle it. But as I hung up the phone, his words stuck with me. He was right about one thing. I was like him. But I wasn't sure if that was a good thing or not. Did I really want to be like him? Was I making a huge mistake? The next day, I met with my dad. It wasn't planned. I didn't call him. He just showed up. He always did that, popping in unannounced like he had all the answers. He didn't waste any time. We sat down, and he started talking about the divorce, like I was some dumb kid who didn't understand the weight of it. He talked about finances, about how a man needed to take control, and how I needed to be strong for myself. At first, I thought maybe this was his way of being supportive. After all, he had a weird way of showing it. But as the conversation dragged on, something started to feel off. It wasn't just that he was trying to convince me I was doing the wrong thing. It was the way he said it, like I didn't have a choice. He wasn't giving me advice. He was giving me orders. You're just like me, he said again, his voice almost a whisper. You're weak right now, but you can fix it. I can help you. I've always helped you. I paused. Something in me clicked. No, Dad, I said, the words coming out before I could stop them. You've always tried to control me, always tried to mold me into your image. I'm not you. I'm not going to play that game. His face went stiff, but he didn't respond. He just stared at me like I had betrayed him somehow. The silence between us was thick, heavy. He wasn't offering help anymore. He wasn't offering support. He was offering control, dangling it like a carrot in front of me. I didn't know what to say. It was like the blinders had been lifted. Everything he had done, every word he had spoken, felt like part of a bigger picture. A picture where I was never meant to stand on my own. I stood up, ready to walk away, but he stopped me. You really want to do this alone? Fine. But remember this, you're gonna need me again. And when you do, I won't be there. That was it. That was all he said before I walked out of the room, his words echoing in my mind. I wasn't just breaking away from her. I was breaking away from everything I had ever known. I signed the papers. I thought that would be the hardest part, but it wasn't. The hardest part came later. The reality of the divorce started to set in when I saw what she was really after. She didn't want just the house or the money. She didn't even want the kids at first. No, it was worse. She wanted everything. The house, the car, half of my life savings, and she wanted the damn dog too. I thought it would be easy. I thought it would just be a paperwork shuffle, a couple of signatures, and it would be over. But no, this was war. I called my lawyer, and when he picked up, I didn't waste time with pleasantries. Tell me what I need to do to get out of this without losing everything, I said. He paused, his voice low. You want out? Fine, but be ready for the fallout. This is gonna get ugly. I hung up, trying to prepare myself, but no matter how many times I went over it in my head, it never felt real. I was losing everything. She wasn't letting me go without a fight. I didn't know it then, but she was already planning her next move. The first few days after the papers were signed felt like a blur. I kept telling myself it was the right decision, that I was finally free. But there were moments, small quiet moments, where doubt crept in. She wasn't calling, she wasn't texting, she was just gone, detached. But that was normal, right? After all, I had just dropped a bombshell on her life. Except, the more time passed, the more I realized she wasn't just cold or distant. She was calm, too composed. Like she'd been planning this long before I even started thinking about divorce. And then it hit me. I was standing in the kitchen, mindlessly scrolling through my phone, when I noticed it, the sound of her phone vibrating on the table. I froze. It wasn't like me to snoop, but something made me look. She'd left it unlocked, not even a password. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened her messages. It was a long thread, too long to ignore. And then I saw it. The name on the top of the conversation made my stomach drop. My dad's best friend. I couldn't believe it. I blinked a few times, rereading the texts. I thought I was seeing things. But no, they weren't just texting about random stuff. They were planning how she'd take everything, how she'd get it all. The house, the kids, the money, and he was in on it. She had said, I just want this to be clean. No mess, no noise. And he replied, I've got you. My heart stopped. I stared at the phone, not knowing if I should throw it against the wall or sit down and process the betrayal. But it didn't stop there. I had to know more. So I kept reading. She was getting help from him, the man I'd trusted for years, the guy I drank with, fished with, who I thought was a friend. And the worst part? I think my dad knew. I think he knew everything. Maybe even helped her set this whole thing up. I wasn't just a pawn in their game. I was the one they were throwing away, and I hadn't even seen it coming. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I had to confront her. I had to see it with my own eyes, to hear her say it. I walked straight into her place, no hesitation. She was sitting there, just like she always was. But when I stepped in, her whole demeanor changed. She froze, and I knew she had no idea how much I knew. Without saying a word, I walked up to her, grabbed her phone, and threw it on the table. You're fucking him? My best friend? Are you out of your goddamn mind? I spit the words out, my voice low and dangerous. Her face went pale. She opened her mouth to say something, but the words didn't come out. She stammered, trying to act like she didn't know what I was talking about, but it was too late. You think I'm stupid? You really think I wouldn't figure this out? She tried to make excuses, her voice shaky. You were never enough. I needed someone someone who could see my worth. You were always so weak. I could feel my blood boiling. I wanted to grab her and shake some sense into her, but I didn't. I stayed calm, even though every fiber of my being wanted to explode. You think I'm gonna let you get away with this? You think I'm just gonna roll over and let you take everything? I shook my head. No, you're not getting shit. No house, no kids, not even a shred of respect. She laughed. It was a pathetic sound. You can't beat me. You're a failure. I have proof. I have recordings. I'll ruin you. I stood there for a moment, letting her words hang in the air. But all I could think about was how much she had lied to me, how she had been playing me from the start. I smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was a smile that said one thing: I wasn't done yet. Oh, honey, I said, walking toward the door. You think this is over? This is just getting started. I thought I was done. I thought I could walk away, get in my car, and forget about everything. But the second I stepped outside, it hit me. I wasn't ready to let go. Not yet. I turned back, walked straight back into her place. I didn't even stop to think. I grabbed the nearest chair, threw it across the room. It crashed against the wall, shattering the quiet tension. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was enraged. I was seeing red. I tore through the place like it was nothing. Chairs, tables, picture frames, everything went flying. The life we'd built together, the memories, the fucking illusion. It was all gone in an instant. I didn't care about the mess. I didn't care about the destruction. I didn't care about anything except one thing. I was done. I was done trying to fix things. Done trying to save something that wasn't worth saving. Everything she ever gave me, every lie, every word, every promise, it was all in pieces on the floor. I stood there, breathing hard, staring at the wreckage. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. But that freedom came at a price, and I didn't know if I was ready to pay it. I took a step back and looked at the mess I'd made. It felt good in a twisted way. The chaos was like a weight lifted off my chest. I wasn't the man she thought I was anymore. I wasn't the guy who was afraid to make a move. I was done being the victim. But then, right as I was about to walk out for good, my phone buzzed. A new message. I checked it without even thinking. My thumb hovered over the screen as I saw the name that made my blood run cold. It was from him, my dad's best friend. It said, "Come near her again, and you'll regret it." I laughed. I couldn't help it. The guy who I once called my best friend, the guy I trusted, was now threatening me? After everything he had done? I was supposed to cower? Beg for mercy? Hell no. But it wasn't just that message. I went back to check my texts, scrolling through everything, and there it was. A thread from my dad. The words that made my stomach twist. "You're making a mistake. Don't do anything stupid." And that was it. It hit me like a ton of bricks. My dad, my flesh and blood, the man who was supposed to have my back, the man who should have been helping me, wasn't just playing the role of the supportive parent. He was playing a game I didn't even know I was part of. And now he was on his side. They were in this together. My dad, my best friend, and her, they were all working against me. They had planned this. They'd been planning this for months, maybe even longer. How could I have been so blind? I slammed my fist into the wall, the anger bubbling up again, sharper than ever. But I wasn't going to let this slide. Not this time. I had a choice to make. I could keep playing nice. I could take the high road. I could let them win and go back to living my life, pretending everything was fine. Or I could get dirty. I could take back control. The question wasn't whether I'd strike back. The question was, how far was I willing to go? How far was I willing to push them before I made them regret every single thing they did? I'd been the nice guy for too long. Now, I was going to be the guy they feared. But the real question was, could I really pull the trigger? Could I make that choice and not turn back? And as I stared at the phone screen, the weight of everything crashing down on me, I realized one thing. I had already made that choice.